Ya empezar. Welcome to another episode of Shade of Brown Podcast. Good morning. Good morning, Irvin.
Good morning.
Yeah, because these episodes are dropped in the morning, bro.
Gotcha.
But we are recording in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But I say good morning because they're dropped in the morning.
Got it.
And if you join us in the beautiful world of YouTube, you can already see that we have a guest. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, buenos dias. My name is David Cruz,
David Cruz.
a.k.a. The Drunk Wedding
The Drunk Wedding Photographer.
.com.
.com. Oh, already promoting. Not even.
Yeah, you remember that, what's it called? The Office? That refrigerator guy?
Oh, Lance Refrigeration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, he's always saying that
You
name.
always got to say the .com.
You're a big fan of The Office?
I am.
I am too.
And actually, I have a little story a little bit later about The Office, a little personal connection to The Office.
You were in The Office?
No, but we'll go to that. We'll go to that. I wish.
Me too.
Anyway, but good morning, everybody. Buenos dias.
Hey, we got Irvin's a photographer. I'm sure you guys already know. But now, we got someone alike over here. We got two photographers in the house today. Yeah. So, yeah,
I would
man.
consider Irvin more like a commercial photographer, right?
Yeah, I think I'm more well-rounded photographer because I could do anything, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, it's funny because with photography, it's like, yeah, you can take a picture, but then it's like, but you have your little specialty. It's like,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You have your specialties, but I started with weddings.
Okay.
And then I started with the engagement shoots and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then again, I could do product photography from headshots to corporate. But it always goes down to where was my start. And wedding photography has a variety of everything
Yeah.
from all that.
Because you do
category.
a little bit of everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, David? Well, first and foremost, I met David at Taco Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, just to give a little context,
Which
clarify how we...
was a week ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay, yeah, 2
Yeah,
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and a huge shout out to the people who organized it.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good event.
George?
Considering George.
Yeah.
Ventura.
Yeah,
George
Ventura.
Yeah.
Ventura Graphics.
And I have to admit,
Mm-hmm.
usually I don't go to local festivals because most of the time they're a dud.
Uh-huh.
But this one was
a very good turnout.
Good. The turnout was good. The weather was surprisingly
Beautiful.
It was refreshing. It was a little warm,
But it had a breeze.
I had a sweater on because Mr. Ventura said, "Hey, wear big clothes because you're going to eat a lot." So I was a taco judge, by the way.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
And so he told us wear big clothes, and my dumb ass was like, "Oh, let me just wear a big ass sweater." Yeah, huge mistake.
Damn.
In fact, your neighbor,
the house
real
mortgage?
the real estate people that were right next to me, they gave me a free shirt for me to wear. Because it was they saw that I was hot, and they gave me a free shirt. Yeah, so huge shout out.
Friends of Irvin.
Oh yeah, so huge shout out.
Was
to
it Yadira? The girls next door?
Yeah,
Next...
literally next door to them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The loan officers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they gave me a little
Very
t-shirt.
nice.
Yeah.
They didn't give me a t-shirt.
Huge shout out.
There you go.
Man.
Yeah.
Where's my
Nice.
t-shirt?
That's ours. I know.
Right.
Shit. We were next door.
Right?
Where's mine?
I made her a video and everything. She gave me nothing.
Well, technically, I won it. They had like.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. You're right. So yeah, we did meet at Taco Fest.
Yes.
You saw us at our booth or
Yes.
vendor spot, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and
I literally was walking with churros on one hand and a beer on the other hand, and I was walking. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I just, started asking some questions, and
Yeah.
I kind of invited myself, and
no,
here
it's
I
all
am.
good. It's
There
all
you go.
good, bro. It's all good. You're local.
I am.
I know.
live here.
Yeah, and you were, like you said, you were one of the judges.
Yes.
Well, okay, we were asking this when we that day of Taco Fest. We were asking, what was it that you guys were looking for?
Okay. Yeah. So the way it was set up was they gave you a number, right? Like they didn't tell you exactly who it was.
Oh.
So let's say, for example, they brought like a tray of tacos, right?
Yeah.
And this tray of tacos was number, I don't know, 502 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so they had a little QR thing where you would scan it with your little phone, and I got a little iPhone SE 2008, and it still works surprisingly.
I give him credit for that.
And in still good shape, still works. So I had to, unfortunately, the QR thing doesn't work that well. So I was a little nervous, but thank God it worked. Yeah, so you scan it, and then they were like, from a scale of 1 to 10, judge it for presentation, taste.
So there was a scale for every.
Yeah, for every set of tacos.
Yeah.
And again, you didn't know whose it was. They just gave you a number, a label number, and that's how you essentially you judge the tacos. The only the only complaint that I have is that we didn't get to try all of them. So like the vendors would only send out like, I don't know, like 8 of them. So it's like, it was like a round table.
Yeah.
So it's like half of us got some, and then the other half got tacos from another vendor. So that was my only.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense though.
Yeah, because it's like, how can
There was too many judges.
There was too many judges. Because this year was 24, and I think that was
that's too many.
kind of a lot. I mean,
That's 24 tacos every
Every hour.
food truck gotta do.
yeah, and it was every hour. So it's like we started at, I think it was at 12, and then we took a little break like at 12:30, came back at 1,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And I was really looking forward to the lucha libre.
Yeah.
But the lucha libre was
Around the
blocked
time.
in at the
Yeah.
same time of the judging. I'm like, oh man, so I didn't get to see anything. So I was a little bummed out by that. But
So like taste, presentation,
presentation, and there was another one.
quality.
I think it was like quality or like
Texture.
Yeah, it was like texture or like quality of the ingredients, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Freshness.
yeah.
Yeah, something
But
like that.
but it was 3. It was presentation, taste, and then quality.
And
I don't remember exactly
how
how.
did you end up being a judge in the first place?
So your audience is here in Palmdale, right? Because I was gonna say there's this little magazine that they send out to everybody's home, the Palmdale.
Oh,
magazine.
the AV Times or
No,
Antelope Valley
it
Times?
literally is just called Palmdale.
Oh, the Palmdale one.
And it has like all the events that are happening.
It's like it's not like newspaper. It's like
No, it's
more
a magazine,
like
an
like a
actual
magazine. Yeah.
And I go through it, and again, I try to go to festivals, but most of them they're duds, so usually I just kind of ignore them. But this one caught my eye
Yeah.
because the logo for the festival was a skull.
Yeah.
And I don't have my little sticker here with me, but my logo is also a little
Like
skull. So it's
like kind of like
That's it.
like Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos type of
The
thing.
skull of the Taco Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
reminded me
So-
of that.
yeah.
So it drew me into it, and went to their little website, and then it says, "Oh, if you want to be a judge, sign up," which I did,
Yeah.
and then you have to give them like a little essay, like why
Why
like,
you?
like why you, right? Like why
Yeah.
me? Like why are you, why are you signing up,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
Like what makes you a good judge, etc. And if you go to my Instagram or my website, drunkweddingphotographer.com, I'm a self-proclaimed mezcal connoisseur and street taco connoisseur. And when I was at ELAC, I went to ELAC for a few years, between 2015 to like 2019, give or take. I grew my audience doing the Instagram stories of like going to different taco spots. So that's sort of like how I built my reputation or name as a
Your
self-proclaimed
taco reputation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I people always said, you should get into YouTube, you should, do this, do that. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm a photographer, not a videographer, because it's a
Yeah.
whole different ballgame. I mean, sort of like if you cook, you can't expect them to also bake. If you cook Mexican food, you can't expect them to cook Chinese food, et cetera, et cetera. You get what I'm saying? It's like there's like a specialty, like what we said earlier. So
Yeah.
but that's pretty much how, obviously, I made it sound a little bit more prettier when I send in the little essay, but which is funny, but we'll get into it a bit later. But it's interesting because nowadays I think of myself more as a writer than a photographer, and it goes back to like marketing.
I think I could see that when you post on Instagram,
Mhm.
you basically like break it down like what that picture or that scene
Yeah.
is about. And I've caught that when like in the
Oh, thank you.
in the caption,
Yeah.
like you tell us about it.
Yeah, and the
like-
picture's pretty. Like,
Yeah.
we want to look a little pretty picture,
Yeah,
but
I caught that.
but there has
yeah.
to be something more to it.
Like
you know
there's
what I'm saying?
substance to it.
So
Yeah.
so
Nice.
I'm assuming that's how I got my little post of being a taco judge.
Yeah.
So
Nice. So like, okay, I don't. We talked about this earlier before recording, but
oh, sorry.
did who won, or who was the announcement, or what was going on?
The way it was, and that's another little complaint. So the way it was scheduled was that we were supposed to judge 4 different categories, right? It was beef at 12 p.m., pork at 1,
Oh, different
chicken
meats.
at 3, and seafood at 4.
Ah.
And at 5, they were supposed to do the grand reveal, on who won.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did afterwards, I kind of, and they also gave us free beer, so I was a little plastered by the time.
I kind of caught that when you came by and said what's up. You're like, this guy's wasted.
I mean, it's like it's free beer.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say. I mean, I am drunk wedding photographer, though. I'm not gonna say no.
You gotta live the name,
right? And so I hung out where like the little fountain is, and I just sat there because that's where they had the little lucha libre thing, and then that's where they had the DJ booth, and I assumed that's where they were gonna make the announcement, but they never did. And I think they announced it on their Facebook page. There's like a little sticker where it says who won.
Oh,
But I feel like that was a little underwhelming and unceremonious.
I could see that because I talked to George before Taco Fest, and he doesn't even have. I mean, he was pretty much the one handling all the vendor spots, and he said he doesn't even have the account on Instagram of Taco Fest. Like he doesn't have the password to get in or whatever. And I was
so someone else
is managing it. It's not him.
Oh, that's weird.
And I'm like, okay, well, you need to figure that out. Like, and it makes sense because maybe he did have the access on Facebook, but not on Instagram. Maybe that's what happened, and it made it underwhelming.
Yeah, it was a little underwhelming.
Mm-hmm. So who won though?
The same people that want to know. The same people that won last time. Bomb Tacos. Okay. They won 2 of them. Which, funny enough, I don't even know who they are. And the tacos were bomb.
Yeah.
That I remember, but
they were right next to the judging booth.
Yeah, like right in front of it.
Yeah,
right in front of it. Yeah. Which I think it was strategic.
Yeah. I was gonna say something like that right now.
It's a little strategic. It's like, hey, here we are.
Right,
so what I'm gonna do, because I blog a lot. That's how I get my client base now is through blogging. So what I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I should figure out who all the taco vendors were, like who submitted tacos for us to judge. And I'm going to go out to each one, do like a little roundup and just going to talk about them. And obviously
tell them like, hey, I liked it, but I didn't like this. And,
be like really nitpicky about it.
Critique them.
Right. Yeah. Critique them. For real. But that's why I went in. But I was pretty I was impressed, and I was taking. It was surprising how well the event turned out. Like I really have to, and again, I have to really emphasize that because I've lived in the AV since 2006 on and off. This is actually the 3rd time that I moved back here. And the first time I moved here, I used to work at this place called King Photo Supply on Lancaster Boulevard. It was the only camera shop that we had here in the AV, but it closed down. And all of our customers were old timers.
Yeah.
And I remember I don't know who said it, but this one old timer came in and he said, you know what? The Antelope Valley is like a black hole. Once you move in, it's going to suck you back right in. Even if you move out, no matter where in the country or in the world you move out, it's going to suck you right back. And I didn't believe him. Because again,
gravitational pull.
There's something about this place that just brings you back in, and here I am. This is the 3rd time I'm here. So, anyway.
So, would you agree the who won? Do you agree with that? Or did you have a different opinion? Like you were hoping someone else?
I'm not a fan of fish tacos. I think that the first ones, the asada tacos, were pretty good, but again, I don't know who.
You don't know who sent them.
And those were pretty good, and I don't know if those were the ones that I chose. Like
that they were from Bomb or someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Bomb mostly does seafood.
Fish. Fish tacos. That's what they're known for.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I got a fish taco from them.
Okay. I did too.
Yeah.
And they were pretty big. I mean, I don't know what
they were good size.
Okay.
Yeah, they were a good portion.
Because I thought, they'll probably make like better ones for the judges.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I need to see the judge's taco and then the one I bought.
I took a couple of pictures. I'll send them to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because that way I can compare. Like, are they favoring the judges more than the clients or what? Yeah.
So, but that was my only thing. Is like I think that if we know who they are, I mean, and I get it. I understand.
It's because of, politics.
You don't want to do favoritism, et cetera. But it's like I want to support them, like because again, like that's the whole thing that I do. I want to go out and eat street food, street tacos.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I feel that over the last 3 years, ever since COVID, like I feel like the street scene has been evolving here in TV.
Oh yeah. And
it wasn't a thing.
And like you said, like before, I would say this is my opinion. Like before, AV events, a lot of them would flop.
Yeah.
But now I kind of see things turning around.
Yeah.
There was a soccer team reveal crest that happened earlier this month or last month. Last month. Great turnout.
AV Alta?
AV Alta.
Yeah, I met them at the...
Yeah, they had their own stand. And I was there at the reveal quest. And, dude, it exceeded my expectations.
No way.
Yeah, it was beyond that. Like, the AV is really, I don't know. Something's going on.
It's coming up.
Something's, And then now, the AV Taco Fest, the great turnout that was. I'm like, okay, all right. Let's keep it going.
There was another Taco Fest at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, in Lancaster.
In May.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear anything about it, so...
Yeah.
There was billboards and everything. Yeah.
I saw billboards.
I didn't hear, aftermath. Was it good? Was it bad?
Oh, no, it was good.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's the fairground, so...
It's the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I get you.
No, it's fun. It was... the comparison, if I was gonna do any as far as the Palmdale and Lancaster, I didn't. The only thing that I did like about the Palmdale one that the Lancaster didn't have was the luchadors. They didn't have that.
Which I didn't see.
Yeah. So I think that brings a lot of people in because it's entertainment, because they had bands at the AV.
Because you got to give people something to do.
Yeah, they had bandas and everything at the Lancaster one, but still, not everybody's into that type of music either.
Yeah,
so.
I get you. And also, this is my opinion. I think AV Taco Fest has grass and trees and is more fresh, and there's shade over there at AV fairgrounds.
Or there's grass, but there's not. Yeah, there's grass.
There's no shade,
yeah. I was gonna say there's not.
I've never been up there, so I've driven by it, but
yeah. I think the Lancaster one is just more spread out.
Because it's a bigger place. Yeah.
But yeah, both are great. I went to both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go to the next one.
Yeah.
Speaking of the AV fairgrounds, did you guys hear Wiz Khalifa is gonna perform?
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, the rapper Black and Yellow. I don't know. Maybe I know you probably heard him.
I know who he is. I don't really care about his music.
I mean, I was never really into his music, but it's just more so being surprised of okay, and you're getting first they started out with small famous not really big, but then they're raising the bar.
Yeah.
Basically, and I've noticed that, and I'm like, okay, we're like I said earlier, we're cooking out here, literally, which is nice.
The good thing about this place is that there's space. So which is funny because you would think that some investor would be like, what, let me build a huge ass stadium, just bring in the people, bring in the crowds, right? And if you charge a reasonable rate, people will drive up here. I mean, people go to Vegas for crying out loud, It's like they drive right by this place to go to Vegas, especially when right? So it's if they're willing to drive to Vegas, I'm pretty sure they're willing to drive here if you build the space for it.
Yeah. Right? And it'll be a lot closer.
A lot closer.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it. It's gonna happen, bro.
They've been talking about that bullet train.
Oh yeah,
for 30
years now?
Yeah. It's
where's our tax money really going, bro?
It's the train to Vegas, the train to San Francisco, the train to so and so. It's gonna be right here. It's but where is it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But okay, but speaking we were talking about the tacos and the clients, and the judges. But let me hear. Okay, you're a photographer.
Yes.
You're the drunk wedding photographer.
.com.
Okay, so can you tell us your experiences with your clients?
Or could we actually bring it a little bit further back? How'd you start?
Okay. How did I start from the beginning?
Well, what was the start of it?
The initial
of the drunk wedding photographer?
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually rebranded officially in 2003. So
Okay.
that was what, like a year and a half ago, give or take. But I've been doing this since like 2007, 2008, give or take, under a different brand. And
Dang, you said 2003?
well, I started in 2003 in high school. I was in 10th grade. I think I was 15, give or take. And the reason why I got into photography, or like I got the itch or whatever they want to call it, is because I was a chambelán for a friend's quinceanera.
Yeah.
And
You saw the photography up in your face while you were eating?
no, it wasn't that. It was like the gentleman, it was like an old timer. And I don't know. It's just like the way that, because again, nowadays wedding photography it's a big deal, right? Like it's produced, it's it's stylized, it's pretty, but I mean, you just got to go back not even that long ago, dude, and wedding photography wasn't what it is now. Like it wasn't, nobody wanted to do it. It was an actual job. I'm not saying that it's not a job now, but it was like one of those jobs that nobody wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't anything artistic about it. It was just like, look here, look there, and
And
like there wasn't anything artistic about it. And so at that time, I was like, you know what? I think I could do something different. I think that I can bring something different to this industry. And that's what originally, kicked off like the whole idea of like me wanting to get into photography. But originally what I wanted to do, I wanted to make movies, be a film director or whatever, but we all know that's next to impossible unless you know who.
Very competitive.
Super competitive. And so I did that for a long time. And it worked out for a while. But then, and I got a couple of stories, so like I'll get into the quinceanera stories about it. And then in 2008, I decided, obviously, be official, gave myself a new brand, start like officially with a brand name, etc. I used to be called Synthetic Color, but it doesn't exist anymore. So if anybody wants to buy it, hey, you're welcome to buy it. But then I actually, in that time between 2008 until 2000, what is it? 2022, I actually quit 3 times. And when it goes to, and it's funny because I don't want to get too geeky about marketing, but a lot of times in marketing, they tell you, oh, you have to like keep pushing, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep pushing. But sometimes I feel that a lot of these marketing gurus and never say, you know what, sometimes you have to quit. Like quitting
Like a reset?
it's a reset. Quitting doesn't equate to failure. And that's something that I feel that a lot of people don't get told. Like there's nothing wrong with quitting, with just saying, you know what?
It's not failure.
Because it's not failure. You're
No.
just like, you know what? I need to do something different.
Yeah.
And start over.
Yeah.
And so I quit 2 times, and the third time I quit was in 2015. So then I went back to school full time. I was actually living in East LA at the time.
Or maybe quit is not the word. Maybe
Well,
you stopped.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was still doing photography, but it wasn't like I
Yeah.
wasn't promoting that
Yeah.
I'm doing it. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, but I feel like I like to say quit because it's like it's like in your face. You get what I'm saying? Like because
yeah, I get you.
because yeah, I wasn't getting booked, but I was still in photography because I went back to school for business and photography, even though it's like what can you learn? But you make friends along the way, which is another conversation I like to have about should you go to school for this or should you just start working? But that's a
Uh-huh.
topic for another day. And then and again, there's like I'm like jumping
Uh-huh.
like a lot of details, but I'm trying to get to the drunk wedding photographer. I was driving on the 170.
Drunk. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I do not drive drunk. No.
Drunk and taking pictures.
No. I mean,
Drunk and taking-
I will
doing drive-by drunk taking pictures.
I will drink and take pictures, but I will not drive drunk. No, I was driving on the 170 freeway in NoHo, North Hollywood, right, going southbound.
Yeah.
And this was in like early 2022. And you know how on the overpass there's always like boards of like like promotions or whatever, like
Billboards?
people not billboards, like people just like literally just write like their little website or whatever on a piece of cardboard and they put it on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And they tie it on the fence
Yeah.
or
And it's
something?
like tied on the fence. Yeah. And I saw somebody had written MexicanRoofer.com. And I was like, that is genius. Like you're never gonna forget that.
You know what? I think I've seen that sign.
You've seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I was like, you know what? That's genius. Like, what if I get called the Mexican photographer, right? So I did a bunch of research. As I said, like I do a lot of SEO, search engine optimization, and that's how I get my business nowadays. You know, through Google. I gave up on Instagram and social media a long time ago, and I came up with like all the different variations. And then one day, one of my clients who I photographed, which goes back to The Office. So I guess we can talk about The Office, right? So that client, he's a writer for The Office, and the wife is a political correspondent. So you know, she's photographed like all the politicians that we see on TV all the time. And for their wedding, they had mezcal at the bar, and that's rare. Like for a client to have mezcal at the bar, like free mezcal at the bar.
I think I see the connections happening.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I went to the bar, right? And the writer, well, his name is Lee. And you can see him on the website. Anyway, so he said, "Hey, dude, like, you know, help yourself to, you know, to whatever you like." And I went to the bar, and the bartender, every time I kept going back, he said, "Oh, drunk wedding photographer. Like, do you want another one?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, dude."
So they were already calling you that.
They were already calling me that then.
Speaking, don't mean to interrupt you, but my boy right here brought tequila.
Oh, yeah.
It's not water. It's tequila.
It's tequila.
Yeah, so we're sipping over here. Thank you.
It's tap water.
Thank you for bringing some.
From downstairs.
So, as you were saying.
If I get invited back, I'll bring mezcal on the next one. And that's when it clicked. I was like, "Oh, dude, like drunk wedding photographer. Like, why hasn't anyone come up with that?" So I went online and bought the .com for it.
The domain.
The domain, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's essentially how I came to the drunk wedding photographer. It wasn't like something like that I think these are falling off. It wasn't something that I came up with. It was like something that just happened, you know, like I saw something on the road and somebody called me that, and then it just happened. And I think that's another market. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me. Ramsey. I mean, it's just people know. I haven't told you. Ramsey's not my actual real name.
Yeah.
It's Ramon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but people start calling me Ramsey. And I was like, Ramsey. I like how that sounds. Because kind of like Ramon, the first three letters.
Yeah.
And it just changed the last two words. And then I kind of just like, I went with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Same thing with my nickname in high school. Well, it was middle school, and then I got stuck with it all throughout high school. It was Pancho. And my full name, well, so I'm David Cruz, but my full name is Ricardo David Pinacho Cruz Sandoval.
Damn.
Wow. Man, your parents.
Right?
Yeah,
so
what's up with those names, dude?
I'm from Oaxaca, Mexico, by the way. I'm Mixteco, even though I don't look indigenous, but I am.
Got that Spaniard in you.
Yeah, I think there's like some Spaniard
just a little bit.
Just maybe, just a little bit in there. By the way, I was born and raised in Oaxaca, and I moved here in like the early '94 to MacArthur Park, Echo Park area, and it was rough in those times. Different topic, but what was I gonna say about the name? Oh yeah, so in middle school, I went to John Muir Middle School. For anybody who knows, that's on Slauson and Vermont. So like I grew up in the heart of South Central, and then in high school I went to George Washington Preparatory High School, which is, it sounds more prestigious than it is. It's on 108th and Normandy. Anyway, so in seventh grade, one of the popular kids, he says, "Oh, well, you know, when they do like on your first day, like everybody like introduces themselves." So my dumbass gave him like my full name at the time, and he was like, "Dude, that's I'm just gonna call you Pancho." And because he was the popular kid in school, like
it just took off.
And it just took off. So I was called Pancho for a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. So it's funny because a lot of these things, it's like I just kind of like fall into it. And I think if whoever's watching this, and if you're trying to market yourself or you're trying to like reinvent yourself, sometimes you don't have to think, you just fall into it.
That's what happened to me.
You know, so that's one little piece of advice.
Yeah.
Your audience, just fall into it and just ride the wave.
Yeah.
And accept it, you know?
Accept it. Yeah, it really is. It really
I mean, at first I didn't like Pancho, but I was like, you know what? That's an interesting name. It's sort of, again, like with the drunk wedding photographer, it's not a name that people are going to forget. And, you know, if you type in, for example.
You're right about that. When you came by and I searched you up on Instagram, the drunk wedding photographer, and I was like, and that stuck. You know, it stuck because it makes you think like, is it really
this
drunk?
guy really drunk?
Yeah, you know, I like that.
Yeah.
But just thinking that are you really drunk
Yeah.
is already reeling in somebody or a potential client
And it's
or
top
whatever.
of mind, and it goes back to
Yeah.
McDonald's. When you think of a burger, you know, like what's the
Yeah.
first place? You know, when you think of a soda, what's the first brand that you think? So it went back to all that.
Yeah.
So you know, my knock on wood, you know, all the 4 years I spent like in marketing business, it paid off. Even though it wasn't like I didn't put anything into practice because it just kind of fell in. But I was like, you know what? Let me write it. You know, let me write that wave of being called drunk wedding photographer.
Yeah.
So,
You said that you don't really market on Instagram, or I'm guessing social media.
Yeah.
And you're more SEO based. How's your data on that? Because I know the whole SEO, we use SEO as far as like for InView Media, which we do get a lot of turnaround as far as like when it comes down to the searches and stuff. Well, that's because the market that we're in is a specific type of client as far as like when it comes to businesses and real estate. So they will literally just Google nearest real estate photographer or whatever they want to type in if they're out of, you know, from another area. But when it comes down to like personal stuff, when it comes down to like the wedding stuff, it's a little harder because it's there's a lot of photographers now as far as like when it comes down to weddings and engagements and maternity and all that stuff. So how has your data shown that you're not marketing or branding yourself on Instagram or social media, but SEO? How is it balancing out for you? Like, do you see a difference, or did you ever go in full force on social media and then just gave it up and then went just strictly SEO?
All right. So for social media, I went, you know, can I say balls deep?
Yeah.
He said it earlier. And it just so I went balls deep in social media. When was it? Like 2014. I got on Instagram in 2013, so I got in pretty early. And I want to say from like 2013 until 2018, it was all Instagram, all Instagram. But as I said earlier, you know, like I just built an audience for my personality and the culture that I was promoting. So, and it's interesting because I don't know, it's weird because it's like Oaxaca for a long time, it wasn't what it is now. You know, Oaxaca, there was this, and I hate to say it, but and again, you can edit this out. But for a long time, you know, being called Oaxaquita was, you know, very, you know, was a derogatory thing, and then Oaxaca wasn't like something that people were proud to say that we're from. And it wasn't until like I want to say 2015 when the kids who they're our age, but you know, because so there's a restaurant called Guelaguetza, and the people who owned it originally they were on 8th and Normandy, and then they moved to their current location, which is on Olympic and Normandy, and they retired and the kids took over it. And so when the kids took over it in like around 2014, 2015, they really started promoting like the Oaxacan culture and, you know, like what it is to be, you know, from Oaxaca. And then I feel that after that, like it almost became cool to be from Oaxaca.
Okay.
So I think I kind of rode that, you know, that wave of popularity from Oaxaca, you know, saying, hey, you know, I'm from Oaxaca and, you know, this is what I do on social media, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot then. But, you know, algorithm changes, trends change, et cetera, et cetera. So I decided to take a different route with my new brand of saying, you know what, I am not going to be beholden to algorithm changes. I'm going to decide to do what I want to do on my website and talk about what I want to talk about on my website through blogging. And I know blogging was a thing back in like 2012, 2013, and it isn't now. But, you know, and I'm going to get back to your question. So as far as like with the data that and again, like I apologize for getting too geeky on this one, but I don't strictly promote weddings on my website. So for example, if you go on Google right now and you type in where was Nacho Libre filmed or Nacho Libre filming locations, Nacho Libre church, guess who shows up? I do. If you type in Nikon F3 or the best 35 millimeter film camera, guess who shows up? I do. When you look up Should I tip my wedding vendors? Should I tip my wedding photographer? Guess who shows up? I do. So I had to figure out what it is that my clients are looking for. Not so much specifically wedding photography, but like the aspect of like, what if I want to get married in Highland Park? Like, what are the venues that are in Highland Park? What are the venues that are in San Fernando Valley, for example? And of course, I'm not targeting everyone because as you said, like I do have a very specific client, and actually my specialty, which I should have said it a lot earlier, is that I shoot on film, on 35 millimeter film. So people who want a wedding photographer who uses 35 millimeter film, they already know who they're looking for. So again, if you type in film wedding photographer in Los Angeles, guess who shows up? I do. Even though I'm nowhere near LA, I'm in Palmdale. But and I hate to say this, but people in the AV, they don't really care if you use film or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to figure out who your target audience is and then create content that they will find valuable.
On your website?
On the website.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, strictly wedding photography. Like it could be like a variety of topics. Like again, I'm from Oaxaca and I keep harping back to that because I also talk about like the culture of Oaxaca, like the local legends, where can you get married in Oaxaca, et cetera, et cetera. So, and people like that, so to answer the question on the data is like, yeah, the numbers are good. Unfortunately, I'm not booked like every weekend because I'm not a mainstream photographer, because I do target a specific audience.
It's a niche for sure.
It's a huge niche, however, whatever. Tomato. The beauty is, however, is that the client that I do get is what we call the unicorn client.
Yeah.
Because they get it and they understand what I do. And it's like, I don't have to like fight them or we don't have to like get into these arguments of like, oh, that's not what I wanted. And so it takes a lot of time. Like it's not easy. SEO is not easy. A lot of people think SEO is just like punching in keywords, which kinda, but then you also have to answer the need of your searcher. Like what is it that they're looking for? And can you answer the question?
Yeah.
Essentially, it comes down to that. So
it's like a hashtag. That's kind of
it's kind of like a hashtag.
Yeah, that's how I see SEOs for those that are on social media. Yeah. I get my hashtags. I strictly just stick to specific names, but over and over again on either pictures or videos, just so that if people are looking for a specific thing, just like how you're typing in your answers on your website, it's the same concept for social media. And hashtags aren't a big trend anymore, but they are still useful. Just like SEO. Yeah. A lot of social media marketers or what are they called? Influencers, they won't really go too deep into SEO because social media has kind of taken over unless they're on YouTuber. Then YouTube is kind of going to do their thing as far as like the SEO part is Google driven.
Yeah, because YouTube is the same.
Exactly.
entity, so.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you did say you live in the AV.
Yes.
You move back and forth.
Yes.
You said 3 times?
This is the third time I moved here.
Yeah, 3 times.
Palmdale to be.
Palmdale, be more specific, but Antelope Valley, to be generalizing. But living in the AV and doing photography, how is that like?
Man, like it's because like do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah,
Give us your honest opinion.
Or do you want me to?
Don't lie to us.
No, don't.
Or do you want me to give you the professional answer, the politician answer?
Give us
the real answer.
Your answer.
Yeah. Okay, and again, I
already know. I already with that.
This is not attacking anyone in the AV.
Attack them.
People here,
bro.
We're good people.
We're good.
And I'm pretty sure you guys know, but to your audience, this is actually sister city to Guadalajara.
Is it?
It is. Yeah,
wow,
we're a sister city to Guadalajara. So
how
we have a large we have a large Guadalajara Jalisciense population here in the AV, Palmdale specifically, and then Potzitlan Square. Potzitlan is a little town in Guadalajara, right outside what is that big lake
You
called?
know your history.
I sure do. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a history buff.
Yeah.
That's good.
And geography, I love geography and history.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was actually a chauffeur for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about? Like, have you guys, when you go to the airport, you see those black cars?
Yeah,
With
the
the
Lincolns.
TCP
Yeah.
on the back.
Yeah.
It says TCP and there's like a big long number. I was one of those. So, where they have to wear like suits and stuff.
Yeah.
So one of the requirements, like during the hiring process, was can you find an address using the Thomas Guide?
What is a Thomas guide?
You know what the Thomas Guide is?
No.
Do you know what the Thomas Guide is?
Put it in the comments. No.
Tom Cruise?
The Thomas Guide was a big fat book. It was rectangular.
Was it
And
written by a guy named Thomas?
probably. And back in the day, before GPS was a thing, you would whip out this Thomas Guide. It was the big book, and you would just kind of like go through it, and it'll be like D4, and then it was coordinated.
Uh-huh.
And then if somebody gave you an address, you have to like look up the coordinates. And it'll be like D4, D5. So back in the day, in the early 90s, when they had the pizza delivery
So
guys,
it wasn't like a map,
it's a map, but it's a book.
but rather than looking at pictures, you're looking at
The map.
numbers.
No, you're looking at the map,
Oh.
but it's coordinated. Like it's in blocks.
Oh.
So that's how you will find an address, like through the blocks.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure through editing you'll put it here on the
Thomas
Guide.
Thomas guide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the idea was that we had to find the address through that, and I think when we started, it was like 50 people started, but then like it would only be 10
Yeah.
at the end of the
That
day.
made it.
That made it through.
That made the cut.
Yeah, they made the cut, and then after that, it was like 5 more, and then at the end, it was like 2 people. They made it at the end, and it was weird because it was like the whole process of like the interview process was a month long, so it wasn't like you come in for like your standard interview for like 30 minutes. It was like a month long training, and it said I think the one thing that I picked up was like when you're driving, you have to look 3 blocks ahead of you, so you kind of have to predict what's going to happen 3 blocks ahead of you because they didn't want you to stop. Like when you're driving,
Like
they wanted you to cruise.
Cruise,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, because it's like some psychological thing where like the passenger, because they're movers and shakers or whatever, they don't like to stop. So
Interesting.
you have to keep the illusion that you're always moving. So the one thing that I picked up, like if I saw that a red light was coming, I would slow down enough so that by the time I got to the line,
It's already
it would turn green and I'll keep going. And I still do that. And it's funny because my brother pointed that out. He's like, dude, how do you do that? Like, how do you never stop? And I'm like, well, like training. So,
yeah.
Thomas Guide. Yeah. So through the little book. But piggybacking on the geography and I don't know. I hate to admit this on TV, but when I'm bored, I literally just go on maps and just look at the map and look at it, and I find that interesting to look at maps. So it's funny because when I go to a new city, like
do you ever do this? No.
With the wind?
I do what they call the bird's eye view. So it's like in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the street, through the bird's eye view, like if you're looking at the map. So it's like, just kind of like do this, like it's 3 blocks away, 5 blocks away, et cetera, et cetera.
I get you.
And then I also love history, which we'll talk about that on the second half of the show about history.
Wow,
I have like a bone to pick with history because I think we've been lied.
Oh, for sure.
Come
It's
on,
been
bro.
rewritten so many times.
Come on.
No,
bro.
but what I'm going to talk about, you're going to be like, whoa, I never thought that. So, you know what? Oh, sorry.
Are you going to talk about the...
So harping back about history and the taco festival thing, got a little bone to pick with you. So
With me?
Yes, with you.
Whoa.
Yeah, so the episode you did before and during the Taco Fest, you were talking about tacos al pastor.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, why are they called tacos al pastor? And you were like, oh, it's the pastor.
It's a joke.
I know. But do you want to know the history behind tacos al pastor?
Yeah.
I kind of know.
know?
Maybe I know.
Okay,
Isn't it from Lebanon?
Yes. So Lebanon. So
Oh, yeah. They're not. Yeah. They're from Lebanon.
Yeah. So
I think I did. Yeah, I did bring that up. Yeah.
did you bring? No, I don't think you did. That's
Yeah,
why
because
I
I think on a Cinco de Mayo episode,
Okay.
I brought up things that weren't actually Mexican.
Oh yeah, I did see
Okay,
that one.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So shepherd
Uh-huh.
is pastor,
Uh-huh.
right? Did you get to that part? The shepherd?
No.
Did you talk about the shepherd?
No.
Because I didn't see
I
that
just said they're not Mexican.
Okay, all right.
That's all I said.
All right. So for your audience, tacos, if you really want to, get down and technical with it, they did come from Lebanon. And
Yeah.
when they were imported to Mexico, they were called tacos árabes.
Mm.
Right? Now nobody knows exactly where the word taco comes from. The University of Guadalajara, they did a research paper.
Yeah.
And they came up that the Nahuatl word of taco means half, like in between, but they can't. It's a theory. Like they haven't been able to connect it. But anyway, so when the tacos árabes came to Puebla, which is recognized it's recognized that that's where tacos originated
Puebla.
in
Really
Puebla.
interesting. That's because the same city where Cinco de Mayo, the whole thing.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny. I got a little Cinco de Mayo bone to pick too.
This guy's a historian, dude.
Right?
He's fact checking you right now.
I know.
And
Hey, but
so-
Puebla is it's the same city.
Yeah.
though.
And so when the whole al pastor came about is because the people who made the shawarma, which is the Turkish tacos, the shawarma, or what's the other word? Doner is the other word that they use. They will call them son los tacos de el pastor, as in the shepherd who would raise the sheep. So that's where the el pastor came from. So it wasn't al pastor, it was de el pastor.
That makes sense.
So then eventually, obviously, and then, as time grew, then, and the trompo, it wasn't pork like it's known today. It was made out of lamb. So that's why it was like the pastor, the shepherd of the sheep, like our Lord and Savior. Jesus Christ.
it kind of has a religious thing to it.
Yeah, and then that's how al pastor came to be.
That's where my joke comes from. Not just kidding. I'm kidding.
So anyway, that was
All this history, bro, is making me want to focus, bro. I wanna talk about this little drink though.
Oh, you know what I have?
Yeah, I gave you one.
Oh.
I gave you one. So like, bro, you are very historically educated.
Thank you.
What I'm seeing.
Thank you.
What I know.
And that's thanks to my South Central education.
But yeah, we got this little drink right here called Magicmind.
Yes.
Boost your energy and focus, crush procrastination, elevate mental clarity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You guys are photographers. Irvin himself is a photographer.
Yes.
David right here is a photographer. Shake well. Yeah, they're shaking it. You're shaking it. But yeah, man, it has some ingredients, nootropics, matcha, adaptogens, vitamins. You could take it alongside your coffee or by itself. It has a lot of benefits.
And you know what? And I think Dr. Simi would approve of Magicmind.
Oh.
I'm going to go as far as to say that Dr. Simi will approve.
All right. We'll talk about that later.
Dr. Simi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's haunted.
Yeah, so
It
yeah,
is
man.
Oh no.
I want to man, shout out to Magicmind, and I've been taking this very, very frequently. The more you take, the more benefits you feel of it, And yeah, you should, by the
I
way,
was looking at the ingredients and it's green tea, and green tea is very good for you.
yeah, green tea is one of the ingredients.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lowers
very
diabetes.
simple ingredients, 12 ingredients.
Yep.
Magical ingredients to be in fact. But will be your first time trying it?
Yes, it will be my first time.
Yeah, on the last episode it was Irvin's first time.
But it was warm the last time.
But right now it's nice and chill.
Yeah, we just took it out the fridge.
Yeah, so I guess you guys want to try it on the pod?
Yeah.
Magicmind.
Salud.
Salud.
As we say in Oaxaca, dishbe, which means to your health.
To your well, there you go. Magicmind. Dishbe.
There you go.
There you go.
I always hate hearing the swallowing sound on the microphone.
ASMR.
No.
So, honest opinion, David, what do you think? Has like a citrus.
You know what? I actually thought it was going to be a little bit more bitter,
Mm-hmm.
but it's surprisingly not
Subtly
not
sweet.
sweet. It's like
It's there.
it's there. It's like a little hint.
It's almost
Yeah.
spicy too.
Yeah.
Really? You
At the
get
end.
it spicy
Yeah,
to it?
a little bit.
Like around your jaw?
It's like the aftertaste.
It's back here, huh?
Yeah. But no, I thought it was going to be a little bit more bitter, but no, it's surprisingly. It's not sweet, but it's surprisingly sweet. It's I don't want to say like, oh my god, it's sweet, but
Yeah.
it's
It just has
it's smooth.
flavor. Yeah,
It has a
flavor.
little bit. Yeah. Wow, that's actually pretty good.
There you
Magicmind.
go, Magicmind over here,
Hey,
bro.
use the coupon code.
Yeah, they're doing a sale. They are doing a sale. For limited time offer, you can use it's 48% off your first subscription, or you could do 20% off one time purchase with the code Shade of Brown Pod 20 at your checkout. And you could claim it. You know, I will put the link in the description. And thank you, Magicmind. You know,
Thank you, Magicmind.
so and then again, Shade of Brown 20. Get that little discount. You know,
At checkout.
Then there you go. One of the horns. That's what I wanted. So yeah,
We
continuing
have the
the guns.
yeah.
There you go.
That's what we're talking about.
He's from LA. That's why.
Yeah.
That's how they celebrate.
That's all. Yeah. So
Ain't even gonna lie.
before we take a break, I have this little fun segment.
Yeah.
I wanted to do real quick. Do you know squirrels? They're everywhere. You go by a tree, chances you're gonna see a
They're
squirrel.
rats with fur.
Rats with fur, right? So I want to do a little fun segment before we take a break. You guys know how they land on their feet?
Well, they kind of fly now, like when they.
Yeah,
How?
but when they land though,
What do you mean?
how do they land?
On their feet?
On their feet, but how though exactly?
Like if they're falling
Off, I don't know, off the shelf right here, and they'll jump off. And how would they land?
I don't know, like cats?
They land like as if they're Spider-Man, bro.
What?
Like you know, like a superhero.
Uh-huh.
When you're watching a superhero movie,
Yeah.
you know how they
do
when they fall and they do that that pose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know squirrels land on their feet like that?
Really?
Like they're superheroes?
I didn't know that.
And it's funny enough. So I own 9 chickens, and which it's a different topic about my little chickens.
Mm-hmm.
No, can I give a little shout out to a little business, real quick about my chickens? Or
But I'm gonna show you how pictures.
because
So you can
I was going to
see.
talk about the little squirrels because
Yeah,
ever since I had the little chickens in, like I've noticed that 4 squirrels moved into the backdoor neighbor's house because they have a big tree. Well, they
Yeah.
actually have 2 trees.
Yeah.
And then the squirrels moved in. But then like they kind of like jump through like from one branch to another, but I never actually noticed how they land.
yeah.
So-
well, I'm gonna.
But we
show
never
you.
had squirrels prior to my little chickens.
Mm.
And I got that's one. And look, another one.
Wow.
They land like little superheroes.
And is it for every squirrel that actually falls? Like, is that a fact?
Yeah, look, they're all like that.
But but they do it so quick that you have to like really pay attention. I'm
Yeah.
sure. To,
Look at that. The one hand on the floor, like they're freaking superheroes, dude. Freaking little Spider-Mans.
Did he look it up as far as why?
I don't know why.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just how their style, how they land, dude.
I mean, there has to be a why.
Yeah.
There has to be a
Maybe a balance.
Yeah,
So they
like-
don't hurt
Or
themselves.
they don't hurt their spine somehow.
maybe like
Maybe balance because they do have a big ass tail.
shock
Yeah.
absorbers. Maybe like
Yeah.
their forearms have like more shock absorbers than.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Interesting.
randomly ran into this fact, dude, and I
That is
wanted to bring
interesting.
it to the pod. I'm like, that's crazy. They're like little superheroes. Look, all that. Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's just that I have 4 squirrels that live on our backyard, so I'm gonna
So now you're gonna
pay attention.
Take a
pay
picture.
attention.
Take a picture, document it.
You know what? I should take a video so that I can
Yeah,
slow-
do the whole up front. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and put a little action theme song.
Yeah,
or whatever.
because what I was gonna get at is I have like the little chicken feed, and then like they come down and like pick at it. So.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it's because they jump from the tree and then they jump on the fence, and then from the fence they just jump on
Yeah.
the floor. But I never
Maybe they're just doing a stunt this whole time.
I don't know.
Parkour.
Man, that's taking it back.
But yeah, we're gonna take a little short break. Shout out to Magicmind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Magicmind. Thank
Shout
you.
out to Magicmind. So the code will be in the description, and we'll be right back. Take a short break. Ciao. All right, we back from the break. So, all right, we're going back to this question I was answering earlier, and you wanted to clarify something.
Yes.
Why?
And I do apologize to our audience because sometimes I have the tendency to like go from one thing to the next, and
That's okay. I mean, it happens. It's a podcast, and people.
We remembered because we drank.
Yeah,
What did we drink?
we were drinking Magicmind.
Oh my god! You need another one, bro.
All right, so why the name, the Drunk Wedding Photographer, specifically?
like
Yeah.
like down to the
Yeah,
like, you want me
so
to be
because
like
you wanted to clarify
yeah
why.
yeah. Okay, well, the name, as I said, the name came about looking at the sign.
Yeah.
MexicanRoofer.com.
But you
and
use
that
it now.
was the catalyst for me to come up with the name that was memorable, that if you're driving on the freeway and you see it for 1 second, like, you're still going to remember it.
Yeah.
Right? That was the catalyst.
Which happened to me when I saw you on Instagram.
Thank you. So that was the catalyst. But then the name came about at that wedding of the office writer, Mr. Lee.
Yeah.
That his bartender called me Drunk Wedding Photographer, and that's where the name came about. But the reason why I decided to adopt it and make it the brand was to just to start over. Because rebranding. I just, because as I said, I took a break 2015, and I went back to school full time at ELAC. Go Huskies. And I told myself, all right, if I'm going to jump in again, right, if I'm going to try for wedding photography,
You wanted a clean slate.
for the third time, clean slate, and this time I'm going to do it, on my terms. Like, this is what I have to offer. This is who I am.
And drunk.
And
Nah, just
drunk.
kidding.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I literally decided, you know what? Let me do a take it or leave it approach. And I understand some people take that like as an asshole thing to do, but it's like, I've been burnt out so many times by clients where, I had to spend, I don't know, dude, like, you spend like an hour, 2 hours, selling yourself to them and say, hey, I'm your photographer because X, Y, and Z. Right. And then the client turns around, they're like, oh, what are you going to do for me? Why should I hire you? And then it's almost like
You're playing ball.
you're playing ball. It's like,
Yeah.
like, what are you going to give me? What,
Yeah.
and then the client gives you the whole, I know 100 people and you're going to get a lot of clients off of me, except which.
Yeah.
So I figured, you know what? If I come up with such a goofy brand name, and again, the name is a little goofy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get it. I admit it. But then the people who want, okay, did I mention that I use film?
Yeah.
Did I? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't remember. But Magicmind will help me remember.
There you go.
35 millimeter.
Right. So I do use exclusively 35 millimeter film. And one of the problems that I had with my previous brand was that I had to convince the client why I'm using film and why I was charging them what I was charging, right? They're like, oh, why can't you just use digital? I'm like, well, yeah, I could use digital. Like, that's not a problem. But if you appreciate the photos that you saw in my portfolio,
Yeah.
I have to use this format. And again, I get it. We were talking earlier how 35 millimeter film is becoming vogue again. It's becoming a little bit mainstream. It's
Yeah.
still
Did you see the new Pentax that just came out?
I sure did.
Bro, that's so nice.
It's a pretty
Photography talk over
camera,
here.
but it's very expensive for what it is.
Yeah,
It's essentially a $500 Holga. Which,
yeah. But it's still nice. I'm like, bro, that's nice.
yeah, I mean,
I want it.
you know,
if someone gave it to me, I'll use it.
I mean, if someone gave it to me, hey, Pentax, if you're listening,
Yeah.
you know, send us one.
Right.
Tag him.
And so what I wanted to do was like, okay, if I'm going to do it again, it's on my terms, right? So I came up with the brand name, which again, I was surprised that nobody had ever come up with the drunk wedding photographer, because you think people, what do people do at weddings? They drink.
They're getting
they get
drunk,
right?
They're partying.
Like, and I get it, you know, like, as a professional, you don't want to be drunk, but if I may segue like really quickly to one of my stories, it was a few years ago. I think it was like in 2014, 2015. I photographed the quinceanera in Glendale, and the dad of the quinceanera, he got super shit faced, like he just got plastered. And the end of the night, I think I parked in their house, which was in Highland Park, and then the party was in Glendale, so I was actually gonna walk back from Glendale all the way to Highland Park, which hasn't been the first time I've walked. Which we'll talk about some scary stories a little bit later about walking alone at night. But they gave me a ride back, and then I remember that they had wine at their party, and the husband, or you know, the dad of the quinceanera, my boss, who, because he's the one that hired me and booked me, etc. So he was my boss. He brought back, like, I want to say, like, dude, like 8 cases of wine. I don't know what the wine. And again, at the time, I think I was 23, 24. So I didn't drink at the time. I didn't start drinking until I was 25. So they were useless to me. But he gave me like 8 cases of wine.
Wow.
Like as a tip. But then he got out of the car and then he started throwing up. I was like, are you all right, dude? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. Unfortunately, he actually passed away.
Wow. On the wine?
No, not from the wine.
Yeah, like what?
Right? No,
What happened to it?
Right? No, he
Case
passed
of
away
wine.
like I want to say like 5 years ago. And the quinceanera, obviously she wasn't a quinceanera then, and she said, "Hey, you know, do you still have a photo of my dad?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, like here it is." And they blew it up, and that's what they had at the funeral. And again, I don't want to get too emotional here, but it's interesting how like photography allows you, well, wedding photography, event photography specifically, it allows you to step into somebody's lives for that moment in time, and then like they recognize you, or at least they remember you, that how you made them feel in that moment of time. And I think that's one thing that gets lost a lot nowadays, you know, like the whole emotional aspect of photography. And what I didn't like with my previous brand was that I used to photograph a lot of, I'm Roman Catholic, by the way, so again, because what I'm about to say might, you know, turn off some people.
Trigger warning.
What I didn't like about the religious weddings was the fact that the bride and groom will be up there and they wouldn't recite their own vows. Like they would just repeat whatever the priest would tell them to recite. And to me, that's like, well, why are we even here then?
Yeah, you're just parodying.
It's like if you can't say what you feel right then and there.
Yeah, because it's more about the couple.
No,
and about they feel about each other.
That particular client was about the wedding and not about the marriage.
I see what you mean.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
the wedding is like the spectacle.
The wedding is the external. Basically,
external.
Marriage is the sacred.
Is the sacred bond between two people who love each other, and they're doing it regardless of who's present.
Yeah,
like they're tying the union and they're promising to each other. And again, they don't have to be religious. It can be if they want. You know, I respect that. But what they're doing is they're promising something to each other.
Yeah, and
I felt that the weddings that I used to photograph in my previous brand, which were, you know, 300 guests, 500 guests at times, like that emotional connection was missing. And I didn't want to be a part of that. Yes, it paid well. Yes, it got my rent paid. But at the end of the day, it's like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I know it sounds weird and sappy, but like I didn't want to be a part of that. You know, like there's plenty of photographers who do that, and that's okay. But I didn't want to be that photographer anymore. So I figured, okay, you know, if I come up with a goofy brand name, and if I come up with a branding that targets the people who are getting married for the marriage, not for the wedding, then maybe I'm onto something. And yes, knock on wood, so far, the clients that have booked me have recited their own vows. Some have been religious, most have not. And for the most part, like all the traditional norms, like they get thrown out the window. Like, for example, like the bridal party. Do you guys know why the bridal party even exists?
No.
And it's funny because I don't even know why people still do the whole bridal party thing. So back in the olden days, the reason why people would do the bridal party was to scare away demons, to confuse the demons so that they wouldn't curse the bride and groom. And then as time went on, the bridal party would dress up exactly like the bride and groom so that they wouldn't get killed by the other suitors. So it's like, so we're still following these old practices that have nothing to do with modern times. And it's like, and people still have bridal parties, and bridal parties is, you know, bridesmaids, groomsmen, etc. All the clients that I photograph nowadays, since I've rebranded, they have not had a bridal party. And again,
interesting.
Yeah. And again, it's your wedding, do what you want to do. But I feel like a lot of traditional things that get done, my philosophy is if you can't answer why you do it,
I get you,
and the only reason you can give is because we've always done it, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
That's not a very valid answer.
It's not a valid answer to just say, oh, because it's tradition. Okay, but why?
Not anymore these days.
You get what I'm saying? Like, again, it's like it has to be because you're promising your love to each other. And again,
like, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to you? Exactly.
Because it's your wedding.
It's your wedding.
Your marriage.
It's not, you know, social media's wedding.
It's not because my mom told me to.
It's not because, exactly. It's not because, oh, es tradición, porque así siempre se hace, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. No, it's because why are you getting married to this particular person?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Sacred. It has to be between the two. Because turning into one.
And again, it's like
everything gets commercialized. Having that said, do you believe in the idea of marriage then? Because that's a tradition as well.
I do. I'm actually divorced.
Okay.
But I do believe.
But he still believes.
But I do believe in marriage. Yeah, because I feel.
Okay,
that,
so going off of that, do you believe in either church marriage or court marriage?
Well, as I said earlier, it doesn't matter how you get married. It doesn't matter where you get married, as long as you promise to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you need to promise, and you build that union. And again, so
it doesn't even have to be legal.
Do you mind if I get a little religious on this one?
Get religious.
Okay.
You get religious.
So as I said earlier,
you can get atheist if you want to.
Well, I'm Roman Catholic, and in Roman Catholicism, you know, it's, you know, there's this whole idea that you have to get baptized, do the whole first communion, get married
before
married. Yeah. In a church. Yeah. However, I don't know the actual Bible verse, so, you know, excuse me, but our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, he did say,
amen,
my temple is not built of stone, which means when he got baptized, it was like in some, well, I know there's the name of the river, and I apologize for not knowing the name of the river, but it was some random river.
The Rio Grande.
Rio Grande, or
that's where I swam.
I want to say the Tigris River. You know,
fact check
me on that one. But I feel that if we take that exactly what Jesus said, you know, my kingdom is not made of stone, it's a spiritual realm, right? Then it goes back to, and then when we apply that to everything else, then no, like you can get married anywhere.
It's something not physical.
Yeah,
it's not physical. It's spiritual.
Yeah.
It's an emotional bond that you have with that person.
Yeah.
And again, when, you know, the garden was created, what did God say, or, you know, John, what did he say? He said, you know, this is your dominium. You know, you have what's the exact word? I'm trying to think, because there's so many versions of the Bible word. You know, you have dominion over the kingdom that I built for you, the physical kingdom where we are right now, you know, because
where we touch, we're able to touch,
smell,
see,
feel, see, you know, and I do want to get into the Nephilim a little bit later. The Nephilim after the flood, and again, this is going to sound a little weird to some people who aren't familiar with the Bible stories, but one of the reasons I feel, because I study Genesis 6 a lot, like and
Chapter 6.
Yeah, well, the little verse, where again, and I'm paraphrasing here, there were giants in those days and after those days during the flood. It was before the flood and after the flood.
Okay, now you're getting deep now,
the
bro.
men of renown. And the men of renown are the people who are controlling this place right now, this realm of existence.
Okay, now we're talking.
That's a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting into theories.
It's not a conspiracy because it's written. And in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, if something is written and has been written for such a long time, and the people of the time when the Bible was written, if they weren't given context to that particular verse, is because they already knew that was going on, if that makes sense.
They already knew.
Like, for example, think of any current event that's going on right now. Any current event that's going on right now. For example, inflation. Right? Let's just talk about inflation. Right? We all know inflation is through the roof, right? You don't have to give context of why the inflation is going on. People just know why it's going on, right? Like, so whenever you see a news report, whether it's on print, web, KTLA, whatever, like they just talk about and they never give you the context of why we're in inflation. We just know that inflation is going on, right? They just give you, because of inflation, it's going on. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so if they're not giving us context of the giants or the Nephilim, maybe the people at that time knew that these things were going on. And again, it goes back to the whole Oaxaca culture that I wanted to get to earlier, but I don't want to segue too far in because we were talking about
I gotta get the way your mind works, bro. Like you're digging deep right now. You're going a little deep right now, and you like to.
What was the original question?
The drunk wedding photographer. Now we're talking.
It's because it's not
about
like
giants.
It's because it's
no,
not,
I know what the original question was.
It's not like like black and white. You get what I'm saying? Like there's a reasoning why I do what I do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because you dig deep.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. And that's how we got to the Bible verse, because you were digging deep.
Yeah.
Well, the original question, now that I remember, was the traditions. Like I wanted to.
Oh yeah, you asked them.
I wanted to see what your thoughts were on actual marriage.
Yeah.
And you said yes, and then we went into the.
Well, that's my thoughts. Is like you don't have to do it in a building.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it
because you said what Jesus said, that it's not a temple. I mean, it's not made of rock
or stone or whatever
or stone or whatever.
It's here. It's around us. Like the book of. Oh man, I'm gonna forget the name of the book, but it wasn't canonized into the Bible. Ezekiel.
So, do you think the idea of marriage is tradition?
But there was a book. Well, okay, so the idea of marriage is tradition. Because now we're going even way back into the Jewish Torah.
But for you. I kind of want to know because I know where you're going off of, because I'm an observer too, and I kind of do the same thing that you're doing right now, but I do it really quick in my head so that no one actually understands what I'm saying. Like literally it goes into my head. I'm like, okay, I understand where you're going off of, but I want to know your actual concept of your thought, because I've actually spoken to priests just to talk to them, because I already know some are closeted, and I'm like, if I pick one out, I'm like,
closeted
bro,
as in
yay. Like I've gone to weddings, and I'm like, bro, you have something, and I want to know what's going on in your head. Okay. So right away, I'll go into questionnaire, like right away. Yeah. Like, okay, what are your concepts of this? What are your concepts? If they start repeating verses, for me, that's just parody. No, I want to know.
I'm not repeating. I'm paraphrasing.
Well, that the parodying comes in, and I get where that's coming from, because once again, you're an observer. Yeah. And it's very, very good to be an observer, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, my answer to that is we were, and again, it's written, we were created in the image of God.
Okay.
Right? And if we want to talk about the Nephilim, what do the Nephilim want to do? What do the lizard people want to do? They want to corrupt the image that we have now.
Okay.
Right? And I have to be very clear on this. And again, you can edit this part out. I have to be very clear. The rainbow.
Promise
It
of
is
God.
God's
Promise.
creation. His promise that he will
not
flood this realm of existence ever again. And what did the Nephilim do?
LGBT.
You can call them, I call them the alphabet community. Whatever you want to, the Nephilim, what they did is how can I put it in a...
They rebranded.
Politically, they commandeered the rainbow,
Yeah.
right? And so...
just like
Baphomet. What does Baphomet do? As above, from below, and I hate to do the whole sign, but what you do is you take something that's holy and you take something that's impure and you bastardize
yeah.
right? And so what you do...
So that's why you have a very specific clientele, right? Because that's kind of what I got right now.
Yeah,
dude. Is that why?
Man, you decipher that?
Yeah,
that was good.
No, that's exactly where I was going. Oh, good for you, man.
Wow, good for Magicmind.
No,
Discount code.
20% off.
So it really goes deep for you.
It does, and and again, like my clients, the people who reach out, they get it. Like, and again, we were talking about brand.
Bro, kudos to you.
Thank you.
Kudos to you, because a lot of people don't stand for anything anymore.
Because they don't know who they are.
They don't, because they're afraid. It's like, this is the norm. I don't want to stand out because I get ridiculed.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand out because I'm going to get made fun of, get bullied, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like, if you, and I hate to sound cliche, but if you don't stand for anything, then
you'll fall for anything.
You'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I have my very specific beliefs and I'm not pushing, I don't push those on anybody.
Yeah.
But I feel that
it's personal. Everyone has a different walk of life.
Yeah.
And everyone has their preference or whatever the beliefs, whatever, and that's okay.
As long as you're not trying to shove whatever it is that you believe down my throat.
Yeah.
You do
you, boo boo?
Whatever you
boo boo?
I don't care. Don't bring it into my house. I'm not gonna bring it into your house.
Yeah.
I don't care. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Who am I to judge?
I'm not,
Nobody.
not judging.
I don't have to forgive. Who forgives? Our Lord and Savior.
He already did it for us.
I don't have to forgive. He died for our sins, plain and simple. Right? He paid the price. What did he say? What were the last words he said? It has been done. Or the debt has been paid, depending on, what translation you take. So it's like, at that point, it's like, if I offended you, then, well, hey, sorry, but,
no, that's okay. You know
what I'm saying? Like,
people stand by what they believe in, like I said.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to try to change your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Like,
yeah. I mean.
And that's okay.
I mean, I don't want to say I'm a flat earther, but.
Now you're reaching. Right. Yeah. But, okay, so. I
don't know. Did I answer the question? I apologize to the audience because
I think my question was going to be a little bit more simpler, just because I wanted to see where you fall into the idea of what marriage has become, because we were talking about traditions.
Well, again,
and before you answer the question with a history, I kind of want to see where you fall into current modern times as far as because we understand where marriage, as far as the laws, and this is kind of where where I was going to bring it up is. Does it benefit us to even be married when it only benefits one party?
My God, Irvin, here we go. I know where you're going.
Yeah, because there's tradition, right?
Well, what party are you talking about?
So there's tradition. So there's the concept of, I understand where you're coming from. You're going into. I thought it
was simple by just saying if somebody loves each other and they promise to just.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted. I wanted you to say that in the context of I believe in marriage if it's honest, genuine, but it doesn't have to be legal. Because we're talking about traditions as far as culture, when, religions we have a bunch of religions, right? And then we have the law, but the law, unfortunately, isn't modern as far as with the actual laws.
Well, no, because the people who are in the laws are 90 years old.
Exactly. Well, even when it became the law, as far as even in the United States, when it was written, as far as before women were actually working, before actually women were able to vote. Yeah. And then now it's become where now everything's equalized, but yet the laws haven't actually changed in any type of way. So for you, in your own personal opinion, do you believe in marriage, but do you believe it in the context of, does it have to be legal, or is it
Or
just
getting the government involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah.
I am libertarian, right? Like if I were to, well, okay, first of all, I cannot legally vote, so
Why?
let's just get that out of there because I'm a U.S. resident. So I'm from Oaxaca, Mexico. I'm not a citizen of this country.
Oh, bro, you're ahead of me then.
So I cannot vote, right? So whatever, and it's really funny because people, like whenever they hear like who I support, which candidates, we're like, oh, but you're Mexican. How can you? Like, who cares what I say? I can't vote anyway. Whatever.
It's bigger than that.
It's a little bit bigger than that. Yeah. So my belief is, okay, when this country and I have to be very clear on this. I love this country.
Okay.
It is why I'm here. It is why my mom risked her life in the sewer to come to this country.
In Palmdale.
Well, not Palmdale, Los Angeles. We lived in MacArthur Park when she moved here. Man, I don't want to get emotional about it. And she lived here. She worked hard for a year, and I stayed with my grandmother. And she went back, picked me up, and we came here. Right, like she brought me over. And in that time frame, and I moved here. When was it? Like 1994. So I've been here since 94. And within that time frame, I again, like history buff. I love history. I like to know the why to everything, right? And if there's one thing that I learned about this country is that this country has given me everything that I have. Like, dude, literally, look, I look like a bum. Like, I could be a bum in this country and still have a good life. Like, if I were still in Mexico and we're a bum, I'd probably be dead. Like, so again, I have to be very clear. Like, yes, it has its flaws. It has its flaws. But
we're spoiled over here.
We are spoiled, and then we talk about some CIA conspiracy, but I appreciate everything that this country has given me, right? So I want to get that out of the way. That being said, wait, what was the original?
Gotta let that magic mind kick in a little bit.
Give him another one.
Give me another one, Magicmind.
40% off. Shit around.
It's letting the government involved.
Oh, the government.
There you
So, okay, that being said, when this country was founded, right? And dude, I have a... Have you all heard of Tartaria?
Oh yeah, the mud,
the mud
flaps.
Well,
floods?
the mud flap. Well,
Yeah.
it goes back to what I was.
But
saying about
that's
the
like
Nephilim.
that's
that's
getting deep.
The Nephilim, mud, flood.
Okay, but what are you getting at the government?
Okay, but when this country, if we're taking history at face value, when this country was founded, it was about less government, right?
Yeah.
Why was this country founded? It was founded because we
want to talk about the.
This could be because it all. Wow. Okay. So again, why was this country founded? Because we didn't want to pay 10%,
taxes. Yeah, exactly.
3%.
And now we're paying a lot more.
3%.
Yes.
There was a revolution, even with 2%.
The crown.
Yeah,
Exactly.
To the crown of the UK. And how much? And again, so when it comes to government, I think having a license to drive is stupid. I think having a license to own a pow pow is stupid.
A what?
A pow pow.
Okay.
What is that?
I don't want to.
A gun.
Oh,
YouTube.
arms,
Well, it's because YouTube they're gonna
bear arms.
Anyway, well,
Yeah.
Just the political term.
I said gum.
YouTube. I love you, Susan Wojcicki. I love you. Having a license to get married, I think it's stupid. Having a license to own a business, it's stupid. Having a license just to, like anything, I to hunt, to own your property, I think it's dumb. I think the founding fathers are rolling in their graves for the licenses and the permits, et cetera, that we have. That's not why they founded this country. Like they founded this country so you can have freedom of religion, freedom of expression, et cetera, right? We all know the terms, right? Like what they taught us in grade school. And so that's my belief. I feel that when it comes to the law, right, with marriage, and I'm harking back to your original question, I feel that if you made if you make a promise to someone, if you fall in love, dude, I don't care who you fall in love with. You could fall in love with a cactus. I don't care. If you
Okay, go on, bro.
Magicmind 40% off.
Oh man, my stomach hurts.
Okay, legal wise, it's a shame. It's a huge shame that we have to tell the government this is the person who I love. This is the person
And
who
why
I'm
you involved?
getting married. You know, give me a tax break. First of all, we shouldn't even be paying those taxes to begin with. Hey, by the way, pay your taxes. You know, I'm not. This is not legal advice. Pay your taxes, please. You know, go to. Do you guys know tax people? Go to your tax person. Pay your taxes. I don't agree with paying taxes. You know,
I don't think nobody agrees on the idea of taxes, especially in this state.
The income tax.
It's ridiculous.
It wasn't even amended into
Okay. But back to
the marriage.
It's not amended into
the marriage stuff.
But anyway, so my answer to that is if you love someone, I don't care who you love, because again, we are created in the image of God, right? As long as you don't accept the Nephilim demons in, right? And again, if you have tattoos, you know, I'm not, you know, but like tattoos and like piercings and body modifications, that wasn't in the original design. Does that make sense? You know,
Is never mind. I'm not gonna ask.
No, you can say no. Say
I was gonna say it's Viagra body modification.
no, it's not. It's an enhancer, but it's not a
Okay.
modification.
Okay.
Like a modification is like a permanent
Yeah.
modification. Because again, it's like we and I hate to use the word perfect, right? But
We were made perfect.
we were made perfect.
Yeah,
like
but we
because
messed that up. Yeah.
the Nephilim, right? Were they okay? You know a carpet. This is gonna sound weird, but you know a carpet, right? Like when you flip over the carpet, you know how it looks all
Weird.
The cushion part.
The like threads.
Oh, the threaded part.
That's where the demons live, and those demons, the Nephilim, they want to come here, right? So it's interesting because like the people who do like DMT and you know they have like those.
So, are you putting the Nephilim with the government?
Yes, I am.
Is that what you're trying to get at right now?
I am because you know how like they talk about lizard people and so when I was
they're
younger,
running the joint.
they are running the joint because again I'm paraphrasing.
And
Who did Jesus say was the ruler of this world?
the Satan.
Well, Azazel is his name. How you know his name? But you know, mainstream media calls him Satan, the devil, but Azazel,
Lucifer.
Baphomet. Well, it's not because Lucifer is the bringer of light. Technically speaking,
That was probably his angel name.
Technically speaking, Jesus Christ is also Lucifer because he did bring light into this world.
It's
But again, what I said
the
earlier,
light thing.
above as below,
Yeah.
you know, like they take what is holy and they bastardize it, right? So, but his real name is Azazel.
Okay.
Baphomet.
So Nephilim, government.
But and again,
where's the
like,
connection?
Really quickly, the Nephilim are the children of the fallen angels who took wives among the men
Oh, here in the world.
here in the world, and they created the Nephilim, the giants.
Yeah.
So those are
The AKA hybrid, whatever you want to call
hybrids,
them.
whatever you want to call them. But no, the biblical
Yeah.
term is the Nephilim.
And fast forward.
Fast forward to where we are now, and again, I'm trying to answer your question about marriage and government, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel that. Okay, I guess the long story short, truth is simple.
Yeah,
Lies
it should be.
are complicated. And originally,
I like that.
Everything was
Truth is simple. Lies are complicated.
exactly. Can we do that?
He's from LA, bro.
Yeah. There you go.
So again, when Adam and Eve were created, everything was simple, right?
Perfect.
Here's woman, here's man. You're together. You have dominion to this realm. This is the tree. You don't eat from that one. Do this, do that. And what did Azazel do when he saw the perfect creation? Came down, say, "Hey, you can eat from that little tree."
But Nephilim, government. Where's the connection?
So it comes back to so after the flood, where the Nephilim or demons, as people call them, or ghosts, chupacabras, La Llorona, aliens. They all. I don't believe space is real. By the way, I send you a little link, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. When all that came into being, so what these Nephilim beings are doing, or lizard, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to call them, beings, they're trying to corrupt the creation that we have now. And how are they doing it now? You know, with pornography, with
internet,
the internet, with you know, music and tattoos.
It's
and
everywhere.
Modifications. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like the current LGBT. And again,
it's just programming.
Some programming.
Yeah.
I you know, it's. I feel that things just have gotten so more complicated these days that it's hard to not. For me, my opinion, things are so complicated these days that it's hard not to say that there's a demonic presence behind everything, you know, or the Nephilim, because again,
or an agenda,
earlier, an agenda, some sort of agenda, right? And who is pushing these people who, I mean, and again, I hate to, you know, even bring up this whole concept of, but like, you know, whenever you go to like the people who are trying to stop people from deleting, you know, their babies, and you can edit this out if you like, you know, and the people that are there, you know, that they start yelling and they start, you know, almost like a demon, you know? So it's like, how do you want me not to think that if you're showing the symptoms, you're showing the signs? You get what I'm saying?
So
it's like,
all this bunch isn't basically like a nutshell of it is the Nephilim?
I think it is.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, because it's like, you know, you have to pay taxes, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay this, you have to pay that. And what do people do when they have to worry about these things? Like they stress out, they, you know, they take a loan, they take this, they take that, and it's just like they just get bogged down. And so when a person is so consumed of doing the everyday things, they no longer have the time to create art, to be happy, to enjoy creation, right? To, you know how they say,
really live,
smell the flowers, right?
Smell the
like,
flowers,
walk
touch
down the
grass,
beach, touch the grass. And again, like
simple,
just
truth.
simple simplicity is key, right? And it goes back to my brand, because if you go to my website, drunkweddingphotographer.com, I talk about simplicity, keeping it simple. You know, like I think being alive is just about that, like literally that, just being alive, you know. It's like, and I feel that everything that was created afterwards, rent, you know, mortgage, bills, etc., you know, like these weren't things that were in the original design.
No.
So who created that?
Well, not to go blabbering again with Adam and Eve, but like when they did eat the apple or fruit or whatever it was, it's not really specified.
It's not specified.
Yeah.
God came down, and what did they do? They were clothed.
Yeah, and but so God did say, God now you kind of like changed a couple of things where we will have to work for our food now. Yeah. And then he also said to Eve, now when you bear a baby, you will experience pain. Like that wasn't in the beginning, but now we have to work for what we need in life, the simple things we have to work for, you know. But like at some part right there, maybe it's yes, the Nephilim kind of did. I mean, I'm calling it Nephilim because you're bringing it up.
Well, that's my term. But
yeah,
call them whatever you want.
Yeah, maybe they have a lot to do with it, but they took what got changed and made it into what it is today. You know, it was maybe something so simple as like Adam and Eve, like you got to grow your own fruits now. Or hunt.
Well, I was under the impression that like the fruits just kind of grew on the tree and
you just go pick it or whatever. Yeah, something so simple. But now, what are we doing? We're going
to cultivate it and
buying food at the supermarket, and it's probably heavily processed.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah,
I mean they're poisoning us.
So something that was supposed to be so simple, like you're saying in truth, but now manipulated in some way.
By the Nephilim. But to go back to your question, like I feel that marriage should be simple.
It should.
Regardless of what the laws are, it's like, I mean, again, if you...
You're saying, so the government is what making it complicated.
I think the government is what makes it complicated. Like, and I know it sounds dumb to say if you love yourself, why can't you marry yourself? Which that's dumb. I know. I'll be the first one to say that is a dumb idea. But why can't you just be happy with yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't you just enjoy you just waking up in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's something that my divorce taught me was that you just have to appreciate, and I know it sounds cliche, you just have to appreciate waking up in the morning. You know, like, oh crap, look, I woke up today. Like, what am I going to do today? You know, I can do this X, Y, and Z, right? Like,
yeah, well,
like,
that's something that we take granted very easily.
And who cares what's going to happen tomorrow? It's not here yet. Who cares what happened yesterday? It already happened. You get what I'm saying? Like, just.
Could I ask you another complicated question?
Of course, yeah.
As far as when it comes down to you getting married, because I've never been married. I know Ram's been married, and currently you.
I'm married.
Yeah.
You are currently married.
I'm married.
Yeah.
Because he said you were married.
No, I meant you.
Okay.
My question is, is it a thing where when you jump into a marriage, as far as like whoever you're gonna marry, is it? Where do you calculate the balance of actually elongating your marriage? Is it just all about love, or do you actually have to like the person?
Say that again.
Well, love and like are completely different things.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why
they're very completely
different.
different.
And that's why I wanted you to answer.
Because
I could like anybody.
You can like anyone, and you can be married to somebody and like them, but not love them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And vice versa too.
Vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa.
I think there's levels of love too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love my mom.
Exactly. But that's
I love my family.
That's unconditional. That's unconditional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the person I want to spend the rest of my life with is the person I deeply love and like in a sacred level.
But do you like them? Isn't it important to like the person you marry?
It is very important to like them.
Because I believe that's a stepping stone.
And which one is more important? Like to love or love to like?
You should like to love them.
Okay.
Like it should be a gradual,
going, like I said, a stepping stone.
Yeah, because I do not, and again, I apologize to your audience. I do not trust people who jump from relationship to relationship.
No,
I do not trust people who fall in love
very
from
easily.
one person to the next, because it's like, do you even know what love is?
Exactly.
To me, love, and some people don't understand this concept, but to me, love is that butterfly in the stomach feeling.
Yeah, you get nervous.
You get a little bit nervous, you know, like it's like you're hungry.
Yeah,
you're scared. You're anxious.
Like, you know, deep down you want to see this person.
You want to see this person,
but the idea is like meeting the prior moments of going to meet up with them. That makes you nervous, which is a very beautiful thing. Actually,
it is.
Yeah,
and it's a natural thing, I think. Yeah, and so I feel that if you don't feel that gut, because what is the saying? The gut never lies. Like, and what's the other phrase? The way through a man's heart is through his stomach. And I believe in that.
Food.
I do believe in that. Like, I do believe that the gut does not lie to you. Like, there's something hardwired into the stomach that gives you that gut feeling about, you know, like
your intuition.
Intuition, premonition, we know, whatever you want to call it. Like gut feeling or whatever. I feel that we were designed to pre-qualify people ahead of time, because, and I hate to say the word aura, you know, or energy or whatever, vibe or whatever.
Your vibe.
The new age people call it, yeah. But you
for the Gen Zers.
But Gen Zers, exactly. Yeah. Tell me about it. But you do feel something. And I feel that some people either ignore it, they don't believe in it, or, you know, they think it's hogwash. But I do believe that, you know, there's something that you feel when you meet someone, right? And when you meet that someone who you love, or who you will grow to love, you feel it. And I hate to say love at first sight, but it happens. It happens.
It happens.
It does happen. Yeah. You know, and you and it's funny because the media and society, you know, has programmed us, oh, you know, you have to like somebody who's attractive. You have to, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But no, it's like loving somebody has nothing to do with physical attraction. It has to do with how they make you
arguably,
feel.
like you've been saying, as part of the Nephilim, kind of like switching up things, you know,
above from below.
Yeah, and there you go. And convincing you, like, this person has to have a BBL or whatever in order to like them like that.
Yeah.
But
Rams likes BBLs.
They have to have a house. They have to have a car. They have
like
to,
there's conditions.
6 figures conditions, right?
Yeah.
But again, when the design was originally made, there were no conditions.
There was no conditions.
So it's like you just feel it, like you were designed to feel something.
Yeah.
And I feel that people nowadays ignore those feelings because you're so programmed to take those conditions into account. Like ignore what I'm feeling. These are my prerequisites to, and then again, which is kind of feel like a hypocrite talking about prerequisites for my clients, but but you feel it, like, and so when they see my branding, like they feel that connection, like, oh, this guy gets what we're trying to do. This guy gets what we're about. You know, and it's really difficult to put that into words. It's something that you have to show, not tell.
Yeah. It's more of a showing.
So it goes back to, obviously, we're just talking here, so I can't show you like my photos and the branding, etc. But when clients are looking for something like that, it goes back to that whole aspect of the whole gut feeling thing. Like, oh, we get it. Like we understand. So, man, that was a very long answer to your original question.
Right, that's why it was so simple.
Yeah.
So going into the same thing, just to kind of like shorten it, you believe that love is an experience and love is a gradual thing. So from like to love, is that what you're saying?
It's something that grows.
Yes and no. Yes, and because
it's not.
It can grow, but sometimes you do fall in love at first sight.
Because of love at first sight. That's instant.
It's and you can't
fight it.
You can't fight it. Exactly. You just really see like.
But maybe you can say maybe it grew because prior meeting a certain somebody, that wasn't there.
Like for example, like if you have if you work in a big office, big corporation, for example, and both men and women work in the same office, you can potentially fall
in love. That's where that phrase.
Somebody who you work with for a long time. But sometimes you just meet somebody
and
at the supermarket,
love smacks you in the face.
And again, it's not black and white. It just happens. Like I have fallen in love at first sight a handful of times, but I have also fallen in love with people who I have been with and hung out with for X amount of time.
Okay, so that's why you say yes and no.
It's yes and no because I can't. That's my personal experience.
But that's the interesting part of love, though.
I think it is, yeah.
And that's what makes love.
But I feel that the original design was that we were designed to love. I think we were designed to nurture and care for people, and to be empathetic, towards others, etc., etc. But sorry, I feel like my answer.
Because I know couples where they only dated a month. And literally like the second month, already we're gonna get married. And then third month, they're actually married.
In fact, like one of them, I photographed 2 clients who met online, and they got married. So
that's today's age.
And then I've also photographed clients who have been together for 10 years. And they're like, you know what? If we've been together for 10 years, let's get married. Let's make it official. So again, it's difficult.
Yes and no. It's a yes
and no because everyone's different. Everyone falls in love in their own
ways,
quirky little way. And I think that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of life. How people just have like their own little way of experiencing life. I mean, who are we to judge what makes them happy? Again, but it goes back to what I was saying. As long as you don't try to force me to believe what you believe, and I'm not going to force you to believe in what so.
But I really dig that. I really dig that a lot. I like this conversation about the whole love and marriage thing going on right now. Because today's society, they overcomplicate things.
They do. It's so superficial.
And I think it's the human thing to,
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And we forget to be a little bit spiritual sometimes.
And just feel it.
Yeah. Because spiritual makes it simple.
It does.
It does. It really does.
Feel it.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. It's just close your eyes and feel it. Just trust your gut. Your gut doesn't lie. And again, whoever's watching, your gut never lies.
Yeah. I agree with that. So, yeah, man. Yeah. But yeah, man. I really dig that. I really loved your point of view, where you stand, and I could always respect somebody when they stand and solely believe in something.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people really stand for anything anymore. And I always I'll give you mad props, bro. Mad props. Kudos to you for standing firm on something, especially love or marriage, that is sacred.
Yeah. I think it
now
is.
and people nowadays don't really see it as sacred anymore. It's really downplayed. But yeah, man, I'm glad that that's how you stand.
And again, to your audience, if you're going through relationship problems, or if you're single and
divorce,
like you just and I know it sounds cliche, but you just have to give it time. Like time does heal all.
Time does heal. It really does.
And you just one day you're walking down the street and you just meet the person who you're meant to be with.
It happens.
That's how I feel. I think, but
I've heard people say,
just don't force it.
Don't force it. Don't think you're never gonna meet someone else.
Yeah.
Because time does heal.
And even if you don't meet someone else, like you can be happy with yourself. Like
you've learned to be happy.
You
with
just learn
yourself.
to appreciate what we have around us, and like
AKA the simple things.
Simple things, maybe in the next life, or maybe which I don't believe in the next life, but that's what people say, maybe in the next life. But
you hear that, Irvin?
The next life, bro?
About getting married.
Unless she gives me my green card.
Wow.
But yeah, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
The drunk wedding photographer.com. Yeah, man. Fellow photographer like Irvin right here. Yeah, shout out everyone who's been listening, showing love. People who watch the podcast on YouTube.
Thank you.
Yeah, slowly, numbers have been going up. And like I said, we met at Taco Fest, and which is like, in a way, it's a beautiful thing, bro.
And I'm actually looking forward to the next one now.
Yeah. I mean, we'll love to have you back on, and we could talk more about the Nephilim and the corruption of
stories.
And we could actually finally touch on the scary stories. Yeah. But just before the ending of the podcast episode, shout out to SeatGeek. Use code ShadeOfBrownPod for $20 off your first purchase. If you go to any concerts or any shows or whatever, or you like to go see some sports of any kind, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever it is, use that code. Save yourself $20. Spicy Bash, I have a bag right here. Spicy Bash, the homie, local. This was a local, showing love. We got candy here. Do you want to try one?
I do want to try one.
You want to try one?
Yeah.
Before we end the pod, let's see. You want to try hot fries or piña? Piña. All right. Well, let's see if Spicy Bash reputation continues to be solid. It's open, bro. I think. Oh, for sure. That's actually my favorite now.
Really?
Just to let you know. Yeah.
Oh, they're not wrapped. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Try. Give us some. Yeah. You're gonna. What do you think?
Oh, these are actually pretty good. You mind if I get one more?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Well, there you go. Spicy Bash never fails.
You did
it again. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no more. Oh no, there's one more. I'll finish that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Spicy Bash. Use code ShaderBrown. Get yourself 10% off. Let's see. Oh, W Energy. It's a I want to say like pre-workout energy drink. Yeah. Use code ShaderBrown for I believe 10%. Another 10% off. What else? Amazon affiliated. If you're looking to start a podcast, I have a little store on Amazon. The link will be in the description. Very simple stuff, very cheap, simple to use. Your everyday items, one of them, you already have it in your pocket. Nowadays, you don't need much. Just start. You find it there. And then last but not least, we got Irvin in the house, owner of InView Media, which we're at, and for powering this podcast, of course. And yeah, man, thank you, everyone. Thank you, David, for coming through.
Thank you for having me on.
Irvin over here,
Thank you.
joining me on this episode.
Yep, I'm replacing Gilbert.
I mean, it's looking like it, Gilbert. Yeah, man. This is the second time we've had you on in a row.
Back to back, bro.
Back to back. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know, Gilbert. Ponte las pilas, bro.
It's a shame, Gilbert, you weren't here because I wanted to talk about the moon and stuff, and I wanted to give a couple of stories about the moon.
Gilbert's lacking. Gilbert's lacking.
All right, Gilligan.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Thank you for listening. Where can they find you? Your stuff, your Instagram. You already said your website.
Yeah, everywhere. Just type in Drunk Wedding Photographer on Instagram, Google.
Yeah.
Search browser.
Look at his pictures, and it's like a whole breakdown of that specific landmark in a way, or picture, whatever you want to call it. And he really breaks it down for you. I've seen it, and yeah. It's only Instagram, or where else?
Only Instagram. Just on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't done anything with it. I'm still kind of thinking of what to talk about, because again, it's I'm more of a writer.
Yeah.
So I prefer to write than talk. So
okay, for sure.
But maybe, I don't know. Maybe at the end.
Maybe like a voiceover.
You could script it too.
Yeah. Scripted.
Because technically speaking, my blogs are scripts.
Yeah, and then teleprompt it, and then just talk. Literally, just read it.
Some
there you
AI
go.
images or whatever. But I think by the end of the year, I should be doing some taco videos. Hopefully, I do travel down to TJ, Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Oaxaca a lot for weddings. So maybe I should take advantage of that.
Got some tacos along the way.
Take some videos. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
We'll see. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, The Drunk Wedding Photographer. Go on Google, drunkweddingphotographer.com, and you'll
there you
find
go.
all the links. So thank you.
There you go. And then Irvin, you got your stuff too?
Your Media _ Pacheco Productions _
There you go.
Facebook, Instagram.
You're everywhere.
Yeah, YouTube. Just type me in.
Yeah. And last but not least, you got over here, Shader Brown. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. A little bit of Threads. Threads kind of died out a little bit.
Some people are using it. I'm noticing a specific type of person.
We get notifications here and there, but I don't know. It's just
it's for a specific person.
It's still fairly new. Threads is still fairly new. Where else? Oh, find us on the podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. All the links will be there. I'll put his links in the description. Irvin's, everything will be down there. Everything, even all the codes for all the discounts. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. See you guys on the next one. Show!